Welcome to another edition of Bet with Bobano, Wednesday, May 29th. Ian Cameron, MLB only today on this Wednesday edition of the show. And we've got, of course, NBA tomorrow. And we will get into some NBA, but it'll be tomorrow where we have Game 5 as the Minnesota Timberwolves force this series back to Minnie for Game 5 tomorrow night with the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. So we will talk about that as well. But mostly baseball. We'll begin with the games that are left on the slate. We've got two games that are just about to start. And I don't actually, I do have an opinion on one. I don't have much on Miami, San Diego. I certainly favor Darvish. I'm not really all that keen on the way Braxton Garrett's pitched for the Miami Marlins. So I, by default, would lean San Diego, but I don't like the price enough. So it's a clear pass. Dodgers and Mets. We've got James Paxton and David Peterson, a battle of lefties. I took the Mets here as a slight home underdog. First 5 full game split. Also a little piece of the over here, 8.5. Paxton's due for some regression. All of his advanced numbers are bad, much higher than his ERA, his xFIP, and all those advanced numbers point to a guy that I don't think is going to be capable of keeping this going indefinitely the way he has pitched. And I think we kind of saw signs of that in his last start against the Reds. He got hit around pretty good, 5 runs, 5 hits, 4.2 innings. So I thought Peterson here for the Mets, who pitched pretty decently at times for them last year, could come in here, pitch a pretty good game against the Dodgers. The only concern would be that he's given up 10 runs in his career in 9.2 innings against the Dodgers, but that was a long time ago. I still think the Mets were worth a look here. First 5 full game split plus over 8.5 there when it comes to the Dodgers and the Mets. That game just getting underway right now. All right, let's get to the rest of the slate. We'll begin with the Red Sox and Orioles. Cutter Crawford and Corbin Burns, the pitching matchup here in this series. It looks like Baltimore minus 185, home favorites, 7.5 the total in this game. Corbin Burns brought in to be the ace of this Orioles starting staff. The one issue they had last year is people said they didn't have that bona fide number one at the top of their rotation. Burns has definitely been that this season for the Orioles. He's been very solid, very consistent all season long. He has a 2.6 ERA overall this season. Tremendous numbers here at Camden Yards. 1.99 ERA here in Baltimore for Corbin Burns this year. So he has pitched very well here in this ballpark. We'll see if that continues here against the Red Sox. He faced Boston earlier this year, and he pitched a gem against the Red Sox, pretty much shutting them down. 1 run, 2 hits, and 7 innings. So a very strong performance. Cutter Crawford on the mound for Boston. He's been pitching pretty well also until his last start. He ran into some trouble, struggled against the Brewers. 6 runs, 7 hits, 4.1 innings against them. So I don't want to go against Corbin Burns and Baltimore at home. Baltimore, by the way, yesterday losing the series opener here, 8-3. The Red Sox put a beat down on the Baltimore Orioles last night in the second game of this series. We'll see if Baltimore can bounce back. I did not bet anything here, but I would lean probably a little bit to the first 5 minus a half here with the Baltimore Orioles here in this one. All right, next up, it's Oakland and Tampa Bay. We've got Estes on the mound here for the A's, Joey Estes. Ryan Pepio here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay minus 190. Home favorites, 8 being the total here in this game. You look at last night, 3-0 shutout for the Oakland Athletics. You'll see what Joey Estes can bring to the mound here for the A's. He's made 3 starts, and the first one was pretty good against Seattle, but the last 2, not so much. He's given up 12 runs, 15 hits in just his last 10.2 innings of work against Houston and Colorado. So Joey Estes has really struggled here these last 2 starts. We'll see if he can bounce back. Pepio for Tampa Bay. He missed a couple of starts due to an injury. He returned last time against Boston. He really labored with his control. 4 walks, 3 runs, 2 hits, 4 innings. So he definitely had some control issues. So that would be a little bit concerning. I'm certainly not ready to lay a price with Tampa. Oakland was a good bet yesterday if you had him. I don't know if I'd bet him today, even though they're getting a nice price. Estes just hasn't been good the last 2. So maybe I lean over here with the A's and the Rays here over 8. But not a strong opinion. C-Mac now in the house with me here on Bet with Bobano. First two games, C-Mac, Boston, Baltimore, and this Oakland, Tampa Bay. What do you like, if anything?
Yeah, I don't know about this Red Sox game. I leaned under a little bit. There's rain. I want to have it here. I was waiting too. Yeah, Rutschman not in the lineup. Well, that crosses him out. I thought he was going to sit today. Okay. Sorry from earlier.
Yeah, that changes things just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a great lineup in this one. Connor Crawford finally had the shit start really at home against the Brewers
Yep.
last time out. He's been pretty good, though, on the road. That's why I leaned a little bit under. You're just not getting a bargain in this one. And it's tough. As much as Red Sox win yesterday, Orioles the last few years have really owned them. But I don't know. You know, Corbin Burns has been excellent. I think there's a little value with the Red Sox in this one. Not a game I wanted to take. And the other one, I think this is the Rays. I just don't trust them. Bobano, I don't trust this team to get hits, extra base hits, runners in scoring position, the whole damn thing until they kind of really get rolling. And this number's big. Pepio here is back. I think he could pitch well. And why I lean that, and kind of you'd have to take the Rays run line. It's just a little steep. And I've done that a few times in this year, or in the year, and it didn't work out for me. Like a first 5 minus a half. Because Estes is not ready for the bigs, at least. Like I remember he had that first start, which was good, but I've seen him enough here in Vegas. He kind of went through the minors quick.
Yeah.
He's not ready, and his stuff is really, really hittable. As much as it's just going to take some time with him. I mean, he's only 22 years old, and I didn't think he was going to pitch maybe till next year. So it's kind of forced into the spot now. So I think the Rays get to him. Maybe even look Rays team total. I had that under yesterday, which was kind of easy. I just worry about Estes a little bit because I'd like to look that way again. But
just hasn't been good enough. I agree to trust him as to why I wouldn't take Oakland.
Now on the road too. Yeah. This road start. No.
No, I'm with you there, no doubt. All right, next up, as we continue along, we've got it is. Let me just see where we are on the order here. Okay, next up, it's Washington and Atlanta. Mackenzie Gore, the lefty, for the Nationals on the mound. And it looks like one of the prospects here for Atlanta that they like quite a bit, Spencer Schwellenbach, is going to make his major league debut here for the Atlanta Braves. His major league debut, 23 years old, second-round pick, pitched in Nebraska in college. He had Tommy John surgery right after the draft. So injury adversity right off the chute. But then he went to single A, double A ball, 8 minor league starts this year, 1.8 ERA, 51 strikeouts in 45 innings, and has not allowed a run in 13 innings with Mississippi. But here's the issue. That's double A. So he's going right from double A to this big league start here for the Atlanta Braves. So that's a big jump. Now, he's been obviously dominant down there in double A, but you're talking about quite the jump when you're going skipping triple A and going right up to the major leagues here to make this start for the Braves. That being said, Schwellenbach looks like he's got really good stuff. We'll see if he can keep it going here. And again, this is a Atlanta team that's obviously had all kinds of issues trying to find, arms to deal with the, obviously Soroka's not there anymore. Spencer Strider's out. They've had to find arms to try to keep this rotation together, and now Schwellenbach's going to get that opportunity here. We'll see how he fares. Mackenzie Gore here for the Atlanta Braves. Against Atlanta, 4.6 ERA, not bad. Actually, these Atlanta hitters haven't had a great deal of success against him, but still 5.23 ERA last year. Did have some ups and downs against them. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how Schwellenbach pitches here in this game. But, yeah, for me, not a whole lot here. Maybe a lean to the first 5 under, but nothing that I pulled the trigger on here with the Nats and the Braves. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to look to the under in this one at 8.5. I think Schwellenbach could be okay. This is a rush, a little bit start, double A right to the bigs. A lot of some good pitchers, though, that's what, the best really kind of do that. They don't really stick around in AAA, but we'll see. He's pressed into this. Mackenzie Gore has been a guy going back to. So I have to have a piece of the Nats here. Bobano, first five. I just think they could get to maybe Schwellenbach and score a few. And the Braves just not rolling. Ronald Acuna obviously is out. Austin Riley was out for a while. He hasn't been getting going. Matt Olson, nothing. I don't know. Until like they really start hitting, I don't think they should be back. So a little Nats and the under this game.
All right, there you go. Nats and under here for Connor Mack with the Braves and the Nats here tonight in this one. All right, next up as we continue along here on this Wednesday MLB slate, we've got Kansas City and Minnesota, Lugo and Ober, the pitching matchup in this one. We've got Minnesota minus 135 home favorites, 7.5 is the total here with the Royals and the Twins. I mean, Seth Lugo has been absolutely outstanding for me much of the season. I've been cashing with him. I've been backing him quite a bit. Look at his track record against the Twins. He's faced them twice the last 2 years. He's given up 2 runs in 12 innings against the Twins. So he's got a good track record. He's in good form. He's given up 2 runs or less 4 of his last 5 starts. We'll see if that can continue. Meanwhile, you flip this around to Bailey Ober. He's been okay so far this season, but he did get roughed up by Cleveland, a couple of starts in a row, labored against Texas. You look at the damage Kansas City has done against Bailey Ober. They have hit Bailey Ober 14 runs, 20 hits in 5.1 innings in the last 2 starts that Bailey Ober has made against the Royals, and they've scored 21 runs in those 2 games combined. So I'm a little bit surprised Minnesota's favored. That's number one. And number two, I'm surprised they've taken some money because I truly don't agree with that. I know Minnesota as a team has played some excellent baseball. It's not easy to get in their way. Meanwhile, the Royals have lost 3 in a row, including the first 2 games in this series. They're looking to avoid the sweep. They've got the right guy on the mound, and Seth Lugo, who's been great. He's dominated the Twins. Meanwhile, you got Ober, whose form hasn't been nearly as good, and he's been rocked by the Royals multiple times. So I like the Twins here, and I'm going to double up first 5 full game money line here on Kansas City. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, this is like the ultimate head-scratching one, Bobano. Like, why are they favored? I know Twins won some games. It's perfect spot, and the Royals just have a little bit more of an average team, whether it's the bats, the pitching, everything on the road, where they've been a lot better at home. Yeah, they've just lit Bailey Ober. And maybe this is like, it's just kind of waiting here for the Seth Lugo shitty road start.
Yeah.
And it's like, it seems like if we get another one, so that's where this line, because it's like, how do you not take the Royals here?
Yeah.
Plus 120 just about. I mean, that's where I have to be too. It's kind of this one that it's just like, you got it. Everything's in front of you. You just take it. Because the other reason too, the Twins, it's not like the Twins are plus 115 here. This team's, you're taking them at a minus 130 price. Like, that would be the difference because, like, everything would show. So, just tricky, but I think it's Royals are passer. Maybe even the team total. Ober's been all right, like you were getting to. He's just like the classic quality start, mid-4 ERA. I was saying earlier, I just think he's a 500 pitcher. I know he's 5-2, but at the end of the year, that's probably what he's going to be. So, tough to good, but he has gotten lit up. Look to Perez has great numbers. Bobby Witt, I'm on his RBI. Plus 165 is over 1.5 bases. He's 7 for 13 with a couple triples, a homer. How can you not look to him here?
Yeah, no question. I would agree with that. All right, next up, Blue Jays and White Sox. We got Toronto minus 190, road favorites, 8.5 being the total. Some 8s out there. My first thought is I like runs here. I know these are 2 lineups that are sketchy to trust. You could say these are 2 pitchers that are sketchy to trust. Alek Manoah for Toronto. He had those couple of really good starts, and we're saying, is the old Manoah back? Then he faced Detroit last time and struggled again. So bit of a step backward for Alek Manoah after a couple of good starts there. And I sure as hell don't trust Chris Flexen. I just don't. He's going to be one of those guys. He's going to pitch, 4, 5, 6 innings. He's going to give up 4 or 5 runs. That's normally what you get, out of Chris Flexen. He's certainly given up, more. He just hasn't been consistent. He certainly hasn't been shutting the door That is for sure when it comes to the White Sox pitching here. And of course, you got bullpen concerns really for both teams. Toronto bullpen hasn't always been great either, but especially Chicago. So I think we see runs here. You can find some eights with this total. I would agree with that. Over 8 minus 120. The concern is the White Sox haven't hit a lick in this series. All the offense has both basically been Toronto
Yeah.
the first 2 games of this series. So maybe you could consider Blue Jays team total over if you're worried the White Sox aren't going to do enough, because I could certainly see the Jays getting to 5 runs. You just got to hope you get something out of the White Sox. But I think they have the chance, the White Sox, to at least have a little bit better offensive success here in this one. I do want to point out something as well, for those of you, and I'm not as big into the RBI props as Mike M on Pub Sports Radio or Connor Mack, but I have to point this out about Davis Schneider here for Toronto. Like, this guy's been an RBI machine all of a sudden here for the Toronto Blue Jays. So I would think an RBI prop, probably I would think it would be around plus 150 or something for him. Probably be worth a bet here, because they put him at the top of the lineup finally, because they realize he's one of the guys that actually puts the bat on the ball and makes contact. And sure enough, he's been really racking up the RBIs lately for this Blue Jays lineup, and Davis Schneider's given them a good pop lately. So that RBI prop for Davis Schneider probably makes sense here in this game tonight. C-Mac, what do you think here? Blue Jays, White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's in the leadoff spot. Still, his over 1.5 is plus 120. And where's his the ribby? Yeah, plus 165. There's a plus 163 even at Bet Rivers. Yeah, he's definitely been on a tear with the RBIs. I think, look for the Jays team total a little bit more, and because everything, and the White Sox not hitting, they're just kind of the shitty lineup. That's awful. Hunter Wendell stats the ump. He's an under ump, but like everything else points to the over. Flexing, soft tossing, sorry ass. I just can't seem to strike anybody out. I mean, I don't know what happened. The guy went from 2021, or was it 2020 when he had that good year? I mean, he's nowhere to be seen. And Manoah, he had the good starts at home. He goes back on the road and has, a shitty one, which I know the Blue Jays had won some games that game. Like, how can he be back on the road in this one? So, yeah, that makes me want to take the over. I like Bo Bichette too. I know Vladdy, they're both starting to hit a little bit, and I just like him more in the 4 spot down there. It seems to have woken up a little bit. I hadn't really used him at all either. His RBI is right around 145. And maybe put on one of those homers, plus 500, Bo Bichette.
There you go, Bo. And he is starting to finally get the bat going a little bit for this Blue Jays team. All right, next up, we continue along here on this Wednesday MLB slate. We've got the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. The lefty, Shota Imanaga for the Cubs, Bryce Wilson for the Brewers. Cubs about minus 140, road favorites, 7.5 the total in this game. It's Shota Imanaga pitching, which means I'm backing him, and that's what I'm doing here. First 5 full game split. You got to lay a price, minus 140. It's not the cheapest price. It's a road favorite. I don't always love that, but he's certainly the better arm than Bryce Wilson. And the only concern here about the Cubs is, will they give Imanaga the run support he needs? Because during that 5-game losing streak, the lineup was really struggling. They finally snapped out of it with a big 6-3 win yesterday against Milwaukee. So I like that. A team goes through a losing streak, they snap it, maybe a little positive boost here for the Cubs, and they've got one of their best pitchers going tonight as well in Imanaga here on the mound for them. Bryce Wilson here for he hasn't pitched that bad, but he's not going to give you a ton of length. 4 innings, 5 innings. Going to see a lot of the Brewers pen after that. Imanaga's been bet on material for me all season, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In fact, the last time he pitched, I took the Cubs, and even in the start that he made against the Braves, they were a dog. I took him, and he again shut out the Braves, and he's gone 12 innings without allowing a run coming into tonight. So for me, it's the Cubs. Your first 5 full game split. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough, and even in his starts, you either won or you push, because they didn't give any run support. But he, like that Braves game, I mean, I think it was 0-0.
Or both Brewers team total under. Actually, I mentioned that the last time he pitched. If you're worried about the Cubs lineup producing, Bet the Brewers team total under. That's another way to bet on Imanaga here tonight.
Yeah, you can look at that. We started. It always gets to me. Unless I really love it, a 7.5. I don't want it. I want the fucking 8. I want it just a 6-2 game of push. Some people are like, I love it when I see a 7.5. I'm like, well, an 8's better. Let's just say that. So yeah, even though I lean under in this one, Brewers team total. Wilson's been pretty good, and he keeps the ball down. That's what he has to do, get ground balls. He could be pretty good. He could go just 4 or 5. One thing, too, wait with the Cubs. This lineup just hasn't, they got 6 runs last night, but it's pretty cold everywhere around. Guys like Ian Happ need to get going. He's been a little bit better. I know Suzuki's just been back a week or so, but yeah, kind of wait for them to maybe start hitting to jump on their train. They were kind of doing that early in the year, and look what it shows for. They go on this streak. They're a 500 team. That's what I worried about. They don't have the pitching, and they go on these streaks through the lineup. But yeah, one thing with I don't mind it. Like you were saying, the prices are crazy. The first 5 I'd want with Imanaga because I really don't want the Cubs full game. You'd almost have to go -0.5 is a thought for me, but I just have a lean on it.
There we go. All right, next up we've got the oh boy, this is going to be a good prop game, probably if you like player props and RBI props and all that. Cleveland and Colorado with these two guys on the mound, Logan Allen and Ty Block. The pitching matchup here. We've got Cleveland -145, road favorites 11 being the total here in this game. When you look at Logan Allen here for the Cleveland Guardians, it's been pretty interesting in that, he's had some ups and downs. He's had some great starts. He's had some terrible outings. You're not always sure what you're going to get from him. The Rockies haven't been that bad against lefties. Cleveland's been pretty solid against lefties. We'll see how he fares tonight. He's never faced Colorado. I'm not a believer in Ty Block. He pitched better against. I was shocked he pitched as well as he did against Philadelphia. I really couldn't believe it. Like 6.2 innings, and he only gives up 2 runs against that lineup. Very impressive. But don't forget, before that, he gave up 6 runs in 3 innings against San Francisco. So, he's not as good as he pitched in that last outing against the Phillies. We'll see. And Cleveland, by the way, can hit lefties pretty good. So I think that's definitely the route you got to go with here as far as they are concerned. I definitely like, as far as this game goes, runs to be scored. I think there's definitely some good props here for RBI. Jose Ramirez for Cleveland. Josh Naylor for Cleveland. That's David Fry all of a sudden for Cleveland too is starting to hit all of a sudden for them. So those are nice little RBI candidates. Probably Blackman too. Blackman has 6 RBIs in the last week. So he's really started to ratchet up the production for the Rockies as well. So it's one of those games where I see runs, and it's probably a good game for some player props as well. C-Mac, what do you think here? Guardians, Rockies.
Yeah, I think there's going to be runs. Again, I was on the over yesterday. Both teams pretty good left in the Guardians. I don't know how much longer this continues, how well they've hit lefties. But Fry, look to his. I think his RBI is only around plus 120, 125, but guys just been raking. Jose Ramirez saying he's good as Barry Bonds. And those stats were wild. And it's like that was all before Bonds did a million roids in HGH and then became a different human. Hit 70 home runs, but I thought that was pretty funny. Ty Block, what his problem too? Allen is just the guy, 5 ERA, 4.5, not really good. The record's 6-2, but I don't think he's great. He can pitch well or get out. But Ty Block, he doesn't strike anybody out though. This guy just doesn't have anything put away. So that's tough. He's just got to go out and kind of crafty and get through it, which might not be easy. So yeah, over again in this one. I know the Guardians won last night, but I'd look to the Rockies here. It's tough to take it basically with Block, but just they got to get basically more, just get to Allen and hold on tight. But still at this plus price, I had to be Rockies first 5 or nothing.
All right.
Oh, Diaz too. Look at his prop. There's no Blackman in the lineup tonight with the lefty.
There you go. All right. So that's definitely something to look at here. Diaz maybe instead here to take a look at his
I'm on it
here tonight.
All
right. Next up, we've got the Yankees and Angels. Luis Heel, Tyler Anderson, the matchup. Yankees -210 Road favorites, 200 to 210, depending on where you're looking. 8.5 the total. Luis Heel, I mean, he's been pretty good here. He's given up one run or none in every start here in the month of May. That's pretty damn impressive. 5-0 for the Yankees in his last 5 starts. We know this Angels lineup against righties, 235, not bad, but not great either. Meanwhile, Tyler Anderson, lefty for the Angels, back-to-back tremendous starts. I mean, my goodness, against Texas and Houston. 1 run in each start, 2 runs allowed in his last 15 innings against the Astros and Rangers. So, for the most part, he's pitched pretty solid here entering this outing. We'll see how he fares. I'd still lean Yankees. They're off a loss. Maybe take them -0.5, -1 full game, first 5 run line split. I also think there's some regression due for Tyler Anderson. Some of his peripheral numbers, where his FIP and his xFIP and all that stuff, they're higher than his ERA. Luis Heel, like I said, is 5-0 for the Yankees. They're coming off a loss as well last night. So Yankees spot. They've been just winning each time he's been on the mound. So even though Anderson's been good the last 2 starts, I would still lean Yankees here in a bounce back spot. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, that maybe means he gets hit, but he's been great at home. I mean, if he continues his worst start, so it seems like he at least goes 5 and gives up 3 in this one. And the Yankees are the big price here. No way do I want them. They're just, Angels got those few runs late I was happy about. And I worry if Anderson does get hit, but I think this is under. I did look right back to the under, nothing in this game.
Yeah, under. It went under last night with 2 worse pitchers than this. So,
and there should have been a bunch more runs.
Yeah.
In a game. The Yankees, I mean, had what, 12 hits?
Yeah.
To 2-0.
No under for me tonight. Not last night was the night it should have went over, and it still didn't. So now you got Anderson has been in pretty good, and Heel's been excellent. So
Heel's been excellent. Yeah,
under here tonight as well. All right, last game: Houston, Seattle. Justin Verlander and George Kirby, the matchup here. We've got pretty much even money, -110, 7 the total here in this game. Seattle's a home road split type of team. They've been not very good on the road, but at home, look what they've done. They get back home, and they've won 2 straight to open this series against the Astros. I think they might make it 3 straight here. I mean, Verlander's had some good starts and bad starts. He's had a mixed bag of outings here for this Astros team. George Kirby has struggled the last 2 starts, but we talked about Kirby already on this show the last time he pitched. You don't want Kirby on the road. Kirby on the road's not any good, or at least not this year. He's been very good. But in Seattle, he's pitched great. He loves pitching here at T-Mobile Park. His home ERA is right around 2. He's pitched great here at home. And I still believe in his stuff. He's got good stuff. He just has to figure out on the road how to pitch well in different environments, different climates. But here in Seattle, he has been pretty good for most of his career, and especially this year. His home numbers are very good. So not easy to sweep a team like the Astros, but I definitely lean Seattle here if I'm betting this one. C-Mac, what do you think here, Astros and Mariners?
Yeah, Kirby at home is way better. If he doesn't have that horrible start with the Guardians early on, I mean, his ERA would be nothing here at home. That's how good he's been. I mean, it's under 3, but he gave up 8 runs in his second start of the year at home. So, yeah, it seems like he'll pitch well tonight. The Mariners have some good numbers off Verlander. Some of these games have been skewed. They've had some big games against him the last couple of years that they broke out. But Ty France, Julio Rodriguez finally swinging a bat and moved him down a little bit. He's gotten going. And I like the Mariners. They were a dog game 1. So this is tough. I just see a coin flip. Maybe a low-scoring game. We have a 7. Just a good one to watch, I think. I'd like to be on the Astros. I don't know. I just in the end, I think I got to be off.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, in this kind of situation, I like Seattle's been better at home. I like Kirby at home. I would still end up going toward the Mariners here at this even money. But don't always like going against a team looking to avoid a sweep. But I think I might make an exception here with this game tonight with the Astros and the Mariners. Julio Rodriguez RBI prop might be worth a look because he's starting to heat up now a little bit for the Seattle Mariners. And, he can be certainly a streaky hitter at the plate. All right, so that's it for baseball for today. We will talk, though, about tomorrow's NBA Game 5 in the Western Conference Final. Dallas, Minnesota. Again, this is on Thursday night. Minnesota, 5-point home favorites 209.5 being the total here in this one. Look, I was surprised that Minnesota forced the series back to Minnesota. I thought it was going to be tough for them to avoid the sweep at the hands of Dallas, knowing they're in their close game nightmares, if you will. But they played good defense late. It was not a great game from Luka. That also helps, but you got to give Minnesota credit. They did step it up last night to avoid the sweep. What I like after that game is Luka Doncic right away says, you know what, I wasn't good enough. I didn't have it tonight. That's on me. Kind of let our team down. And I need to be better. That's bet on stuff. That's stuff you want to hear from one of the star players of the losing team. So I would certainly expect Luka Doncic to be a lot better tomorrow night in Game 5. I don't like Minnesota. Now they're laying 5. I'm even seeing 5.5 starting to show up. I'd be only looking at Dallas here in this one. I think they'll bounce back strong. Maybe Minnesota will win, but I don't know if they'll win by enough of a margin here. I think it's going to be another close game. That's the one thing we have seen in this series. Even the 3 games that Dallas won, for the most part, we've seen some pretty close games more often than not. So laying 5 with Minnesota is just not something I am interested in doing. For me, it would only be a look to Dallas here, +5 in Game 5 of the Western Conference Final taking place on Thursday night. We'll get C-Mac's thoughts on that game when he returns in just a moment as well. But that's certainly the way I'm leaning. We'll also get C-Mac's thoughts on the hockey, too, because we do have Game 4 with Edmonton and Dallas tonight in the Western Conference Final in the NHL. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. 86 viewers. And a reminder, this show is going to be Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I also have a big announcement to make, actually, as far as this channel. This channel, everyone loves Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. I've been doing this show for years. And the last couple years, I've done it on this channel. It is coming back, and it is coming back this week. It won't be a live show. This show will always be pre-recorded. But we will record the season premiere of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy this week. It'll be either tomorrow or Friday. We'll get it posted. And what it will be is we'll do what's left of the UFL season. They're down to their final week of the regular season this weekend, and it's been a profitable UFL season for me. But this week on the premiere of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy, we'll also give you a 2024 CFL season preview with the CFL season starting next week on Thursday night. So looking forward to Canadian football being back. We'll give you a team-by-team previews, East Division, West Division. We'll do win totals. We'll do division futures, Grey Cup futures, all of that this week on the return of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. Excited to have the show back. And basically this show will be back every week for the football season, now right through to February when the Super Bowl takes place. It'll be CFL from now until August, and then we'll turn it into CFL, NFL, and we'll probably throw in a little college football as well in September when that begins. So Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy is back for another season, and the first episode of the new season will be recorded and uploaded either tomorrow or Friday right here on my channel. So make sure you subscribe to this channel because Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy is back. And once we get into the NFL college portion of the season, we're going to have to maybe invite our guy Connor Mack here to join me for the Football Frenzy later on. I'm sure Connor Mack would mind that.
Yeah. I'll definitely join you.
Looking forward to that. Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy again, back for another season later this week. All right. CMAC, NBA, West Final, Thursday night, Dallas, Minnesota. Minnesota's laying 5. The total is 209.5. What's your early thoughts going into that one for tomorrow night?
I hate to say it, but I really don't have anything on it. I think the T-Wolves can win and force this back, but I don't want to lay really 5 points for them. And I don't know if they really. Yeah, it was just Luka had a bad game. I was waiting for that a little bit. It finally happened. Totals were a little bit too low. Not that they raised it, but remember even Game 1, I like that first half under. They just were shooting it, even both teams well, especially the Mavs. So kind of just an off night. I mean, they're up 3-0, so maybe it's a little, but you gotta think they wanted to put it away and not mess around. Your Celtics too. You have a long, long break. So I think the T-Wolves can win. It's a wait for me here. I don't like. I just don't want to lay 5 points. One thing when they did win against earlier against the Suns and the Nuggets, they kicked their ass. So it's like if you do like the T Wolves, you almost shouldn't mind the points. Like they just lost outright. They kind of struggled down the stretch of those first 3 games where they were almost winning the first couple at halftime. They just folded late. Luka was great. Same thing with Kyrie. But yeah, it kind of makes it if you do like the T Wolves, just go ahead and lay it because all postseason they've had no problem covering it. So I've kind of been thinking of that too since last night when they won.
All right, we've got Game 4, CMAC Western Conference Final tonight. Edmonton, Dallas. Dallas looking to take a 3-1 series lead. For me, it's quite simple. I don't want to lay a price against a Dallas team that's 6-0 in their last 6 as an underdog, 6-1 on the road in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's 12-1 combined. To fade Dallas or to bet Dallas in this spot would be 12-1 on your side. That they're 6-0 their last 6 as a dog, 6-1 on the road in the playoffs. Tough to go against. I know it's an Edmonton spot, just like with Florida last night, where it's the team down 2-1 at home. They don't want to go down 3-1. You expect Edmonton to have a strong effort, but I don't know if strong effort alone is going to be enough against this Dallas team, which to me, when Dallas plays their A game and Edmonton plays their A game in the same game, Dallas is going to win that game 9 times out of 10 because Dallas's A game is better than Edmonton's. That's the way I see it. What do you think tonight for CMAC for Game 4, NHL West Final, Dallas-Edmonton?
I agree. I just think they're a little bit the better team. In one place, Oilers got to win here. Dallas been a little more. They've just been great on the road all year. You just ripped it off 6 straight. How can you not want to take them as a dog in this one? I wonder if we get more goals in this game. It is the 6 out of 5.5. Does it open up a little bit more? Because I thought it would in Game 3 with Edmonton at home, a little bit different. And I kind of think the same thing tonight. They got to take some chances. Now that could burn them, though, and some odd man rushes the other way and the Stars score. So I kind of lean over. I haven't bet it's the 6 here in this one. I've been good on some of these props, like point props. Sagan, Ben, they've been around plus 115, that number, and they've been cashing for me. So I look at those. That's all I've really made. What is your bargain bin here?
Radek Foxa back in the lineup for the Dallas Stars at plus 750. I know he's only on the 4th line, but he did score the series-winning goal for them against Vegas in Game 7 in the first round. So someone that I think can, make an impact a little bit in the lineup now that he's back in. So I took a shot there with Radek Foxa back in the lineup tonight.
All right. I like it.
There we go. And quickly, Connor, tomorrow night, Game 5, Eastern Conference Final, Rangers and Panthers back to Madison Square Garden for Game 5. It looks like the the Panthers are minus 120, minus 125 road favorites in New York, 5.5 the total. Florida's been the better team the last 2 games. There's no question. They probably should be up 3-1 in this series right now instead of it being 2-2, but that's neither here nor there. When you've got an Igor Shesterkin, you're not going to apologize if you're a Ranger fan or a Ranger player because you've got a goalie that's been awesome. Your goalie matters at this time of year. So the bottom line is it's 2-2, but it does feel like the Panthers have the momentum on their side. Can the Rangers get it back here for Game 5? What do you think there, Connor?
I think they could, but the better team is the Panthers. I mean, we saw it last night for most of that game. It's and even our guy, Samuel Gaucho, was talking about the Rangers. It's just kind of Shesterkin be great, hold on, and then kind of get a go. That's what they did. Even in these games, they lost OT, but the OTs before that. So I think the Panthers win, and I'd be under. How can you out with these 2 goalies? Unless I see something different, I think it's back to the under here again.
All right, under it is, and I agree. I think it's going to be difficult to see higher scoring games the rest of this series, especially as the games get more important. And these 2 goalies, the way they're going, Bobrovsky and Shesterkin, for their respective teams, no doubt. All right, there you go. We've ran through the gamut right there. MLB, NHL, NBA. Gave you a little bit of everything here on Bet with Bobano. Shout out to everyone in the chat. 88 viewers live. Hit the like button. Gold Jew, Dustin, Timothy in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining us here on this edition. We're here Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. All right, it is time for best bets here for this edition of Bet with Bobano. Connor, we'll go to you. What do you like here for best bet?
Yeah, I'm gonna have the Nats. I talked about earlier a first five. And usually I'm a first five under, but just in case one of these guys hit, I've seen a ton of Braves games. They score, 4 or 5 runs. Their bullpen's been excellent, and the Nats bullpen hasn't been awful. They've been, middle of the road. I think they're 12th, 13th. So I went full game here. Nats, Braves under 8.5.
All right, there we go. Nats Braves under 8.5 for CMAC with his best bet. My best bet here for tonight in Major League Baseball. Let me see what I'm going to go with here. There's some good choices, but I think I'm going to end up going with. Let me just see here. Maybe I'm walking into a friggin' trap here, but I'm taking Kansas City. Plus 120 against Minnesota. Lugo's been great. They hit Ober twice really hard the last 2 times they faced him. Royals, too, looking to avoid a sweep. I know Minnesota's played good baseball, but, at this price, give me Kansas City here, plus 120 against Minnesota. That is going to be my best bet here for tonight in MLB. Great stuff. Again, thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, too. It gets the subscriber numbers up on the channel, especially because Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy is back for a brand new season this week. The first episode will be posted, CFL season preview, and we'll also talk about the UFL week of the regular season as well. Looking forward to that. CMAC, any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, shout out to all you guys. Thanks for coming. Hit the sub, like you were just mentioned. Get this channel back rolling again. And Football Frenzy. I cannot wait. You gotta love it. CFL. For you, I'm sure you are pumped.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to it. Great to have CFL back in our lives again. And by the way, Ice Guys, live betcast tonight. It's game 4, Dallas, Edmonton, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be on for the betcast for the whole game. Make sure you join us. It's a lot of fun just watching the game. So make sure you join us tonight for another Ice Guys live betcast. That's it. That's a wrap. We thank you for joining us. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Bet like Tony Soprano. Bet with Bobano. And we will see you again Monday next week for another edition of Bet with Bobano.
Peace.
There we go.
All right, Bobano.